Good morning, it's Elaine with Elaine's Custom Cards, and today we're doing another Easter card. And the designer series paper we're using today is from the Symbols of Fortune in the mini catalog. There's some beautiful papers, and I'm using, instead of the front that has the gold finish on it, I'm using the back of these papers. And then I'll show you how I got these flowers right here. I used, I've already cut it all up, but I used this paper that's got the gold foiling on the back, and this flower I kind of just cut around each one, and the dies that go with this particular die right here will cut these flowers out that's on this paper. Doesn't cut out these smaller ones, but it does cut out the bigger ones. So that's the die I used for cutting out these flowers. And then I used, for this, I used these dies, and I used this one, and this is called Scallop Contours, so I just used this die right there. And for the circle, I used the circle dies, and I used the largest one right here. Then for this right here, this doily, I used the Heart and Home doilies, and I took one of them. I got all my pieces cut out already. I took this, and I'll show you how I did this first. That out of there. Put it on my paper. Took a blending brush and my evening evergreen. I'm not sure what color this is. Well, it's a gray color, it looks like. Anyway, I used the back. And I got ink on myself already this morning. I finally, after I got an elk and then my husband got an elk, we've been pretty busy cutting up elk meat, processing. We both had tags. Yeah, it's a lot of meat. We ended up filling the freezer, which is good. So anyway, I just took my blending brush, and you don't need to do the centers, and I just put this evening evergreen until I got it as dark as I wanted. I just kept rubbing it around until I had a nice dark, pretty dark green. It's definitely not as dark as the cardstock, but get back on there. You can make it as light or as dark as you want. I just wanted very, very, very dark. So once you do that, and you can let it dry a little bit. Okay, kind of does something neat on the back. If you want to use it for a mask, it makes a beautiful image there if you want to put it on white cardstock. Okay, I did that. Now let's put this card together. So we're going to take this piece, which is from that paper, the, what's it called again? Symbols of Fortune. And the DSP is just Symbols of Fortune 12 by 12 DSP. And then I took the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder, and I don't know if you can see the embossing, but I did emboss this. So we're going to glue that on the crumb cake, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And if you want to make several cards, you can get 6 of these cards out of one sheet of Designer Series paper using this paper. And there's 2 sheets in there, so you could get 12. And you'll have a strip left over at the bottom that you can use for something else. We'll set that aside. And then I took my label, stamped it with Easter Blessings that is from Daffodil Daydream. And I couldn't find a stamp set, current stamp set for the inside of my card. This one I took a retired stamp set and stamped in there. You don't have to stamp anything. I just wanted something stamped. And I used this Gift of Hope. It's retired, but I used this. There's also this stamp set you could use where you could put Happy Easter and then the best is yet to come on the inside. So you could use this one. That one's current. So then I took this and I took Calypso Coral. I stamped it with the Evening Evergreen. Then I took my Calypso Coral and I just did this to it because I wanted, it needed some color on the edge, I thought. I mean, you don't have to. You could color the whole thing. I just wanted this part. Okay. I'm working towards trying to get 1,000 subscribers so that I can start doing live videos using my iPhone. Right now I have 662 or something. So I need 338 more subscribers to do lives. So anyway, let's get busy with this. So then I went ahead and glued this to the front of the card. I just put the glue in the middle. It doesn't need to be everywhere. And then I just centered it side to side and then put it up kind of how high I wanted it. Okay? And then I glued this down, and this is Crumb Cake, and like I said, it's the largest of the circle dies. I could have used the scalloped. If you don't have these, you can use the scalloped die in the circle dies, the largest one, and that will work. But I like the way the doily looked, and I need to use up my doilies. So I did that, and like I said, I die cut this out of the Designer Series paper, and I used dimensionals on the back because I wanted this popped up. You can use however many you want. I tend to use quite a few. Okay, that should do it. So we'll pop that up. This is one of my classic, very simple cards. If you don't have this, well, if you'd rather stamp the flower and color it in, you can do that. I just thought I really liked the colors in this and the way it looked, so that's why I used the Designer Series paper. But the stamp set, I'll dig it out for you here, has a distinctive stamp on there that you could stamp that. But you're not going to get the white edging like this has. So I didn't try stamping just that. So now I'm going to take a piece of the ribbon, and this is part of the suite. It's the soft succulent, and it's let's see, it's a 1/2 inch wide, and it's I said that, soft succulent. And what I did is I have a little bit of snail left, so I'm trying to use it up. You can use your tape that's in the catalog. There's tape runners in the catalog, so this, I'm just trying to use it up. So I just ran a line of glue along the back of this ribbon. Adhesive. It's not really glue. This piece of crumb cake is 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and I just centered this on there very carefully. Centered it. Oops. Just like so. And then put the edge end piece to the back, just like so. And then I took my adhesive again and just ran the adhesive on the back. And then adhered it, not really centered, just closer to the bottom, or to the top. I don't know, I left probably, you could leave about 3/4 of an inch. Maybe less. I guess it's less. You just want to make sure it's level. Okay? Then you're going to take your sentiment, put dimensionals on the back. Okay. I've been working on trying to make some sourdough bread today, and so I was trying to coordinate recording this video and making the bread. Okay, then I took some of these polished dots, and it's also part of the suite. Sure. Yes, this is part of the suite as well. I used the small ones, and then I put 3 on here, like so. These are kind of a lightish colored of a pink. You could use the clear ones, or yeah, the clear ones, but I like the pink tint. Okay, the front of our card is finished. Now we're going to work on the inside. Like I said, I did use a retired stamp there, and I cut this out of the edge of the Designer Series paper, so it's just this much of the flowers, because I'm going to put it right here in the corner. I didn't want to waste my paper. I just thought the way it looked good like that. You could stamp in there, or you could put a strip of this paper right here on the bottom or on the side. But I like the way this looked. Okay. I always do my sentiment first in case I get it crooked. So I did that. Then I took the butterflies. There's this butterfly and then the fill-in from Sentimental Swirls. And I stamped them kind of in the corner here. So let's close this for now. This. I need a little bit of cushion because this is a photopolymer stamps. And I stamped the outline first. You can just kind of do it random. Just like so. And while I've got this out, I'm going to do random on the envelope in the corner. There. And there. And there. And then I took this and did a stamp off because I didn't want it really super dark. Yeah. It's like that. We're almost done. This is a, I always say this, but this is a really simple card. I like to do complicated sometimes, but when I'm trying to do a video, I'm trying to keep it somewhat simple so anybody can create these cards and you don't have to feel like, wow, that's really complicated. I like to do complicated, but they take quite a bit longer. So I got that. Put that over there. And then I took this, glued it to the inside. This piece right here is 4 by 5 1/4. But this piece I made a little bit smaller because I can get 5 of these out of one sheet of cardstock, where if I use that size I can only get 4. This is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, and I'll show you on a piece of cardstock how to cut that to get 5. And that's your card. So if you take a piece of cardstock, I'll demonstrate for you. Take a piece of Whisper White, and this is the basic, I called it Whisper White. It's basic white. It's the not the thick. And then you take and you can cut out here first 3 5/8, and after you've cut that, then you can cut these 3 5/8, 3 5/8, and 3 5/8. So then you're going to cut this at 4 7/8 right here and right here after you cut this. And this piece I'm using for the sentiment, this little bit here. And then the only waste you have is this little strip. Oops. This little strip right here. So this is 4 7/8, 3 5/8. And so you can get 5 card inside pieces out of one piece of 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, whereas with the other you can only get 4. So that's why I make them a little bit smaller. Sometimes I'll make them bigger, but most of the time I make them small. So that's your card for today. I hope you like it. Right now there's a sale on the retiring, some of the retiring stamp sets and bundles. Not everything's on sale, and not everything's retiring. So if you go to my website, elainescustomcards.net, and you should be able to click on the sale items that are in there. So you have a blessed day and have fun stamping.